I turned one blank, boring wall into the most complimented spot in my entire apartment. And I did it for less than the cost of one throw pillow. No joke. Frames, art, everything you see behind me right now cost under $40. If you have ever stared at an empty wall and felt too broke or too intimidated to fix it, stay with me because by the end of this video you will know exactly how to build a gallery wall that looks like it belongs in a design magazine, on a budget that actually makes sense in 2026. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell, because I am dropping a full budget home makeover series this month and you do not want to miss what is coming next. Now let us get into it. Why gallery walls are still trending in 2026. Gallery walls never really left, but the way people are building them has changed a lot. Nobody wants to spend $300 on frames from a boutique store anymore. In 2026, the whole aesthetic has shifted toward mixing thrifted frames, printable digital art, and a few statement pieces to create something that feels curated instead of matchy. The secret is not spending more, it is choosing smarter. And that is exactly what I am walking you through today. What do you actually need? Here is the honest breakdown of what went into this wall. First, picture frames. I did not buy anything fancy. I grabbed a mix of frames from the dollar store, a discount home goods store, and 2 secondhand frames I painted to match. That alone kept my frame budget under $20 for 7 frames. Second, printable art. This is the real budget hack nobody talks about enough. Instead of buying expensive prints, I used affordable or free digital art files that you print yourself at home or at a local print shop. Sites like Etsy have thousands of printable art bundles for under $5, and some artists even offer free downloadable prints if you search for them. Third, basic hanging supplies, painter's tape, a level, and a tape measure. Total spend $36.40. I kept the receipt because I knew some of you would ask. Where to find cheap frames without them looking cheap? This is where most people mess up. They buy frames that all match perfectly and the wall ends up looking flat and boring. The trick is intentional mismatch. Grab a few frames in the same color family like all black or all natural wood, but let the sizes and slight style differences vary. Thrift stores are gold mines for this. So are discount retailers during clearance seasons. If a frame has a finish you do not love, a $2 can of spray paint fixes that instantly. I repainted 2 outdated gold frames black and you genuinely cannot tell they were not bought that way. Choosing printable art that looks expensive. Printable art gets a bad reputation because people pick low-resolution images that look pixelated once printed large. Here is the fix. Always choose files that are at least 300 dpi, and stick to a cohesive color palette across all your prints, even if the subjects are different. I mixed abstract line art, a botanical print, and a simple typography quote, but because they all shared the same warm neutral tones, they read as one collection instead of a random pile of pictures. This is the #1 thing that makes a gallery wall look pulled together instead of thrown together. Planning your layout before you touch the wall. Do not skip this step because this is where most gallery walls go wrong. Before I hammered a single nail, I laid every frame out on the floor first, arranging and rearranging until the spacing felt balanced. Then I traced each frame onto craft paper, cut them out, and taped the paper templates directly onto the wall. This lets you see the whole layout, move things around freely, and mark your nail spots with zero risk of extra holes. It sounds like an extra step, but it saved me from at least 4 unnecessary nail holes, and it is completely free to do. The actual hanging process. Once my paper templates were taped up and I stepped back to confirm I liked the spacing, I used a level to make sure the top row sat straight, then worked outward from my main focal frame. I kept gaps between frames around 2 to 3 inches for that tight, curated gallery look. For the lighter frames, I used adhesive strips instead of nails, which saved time and kept the wall damage-free. Perfect if you are renting. For the heavier frames, I used basic picture hooks rated for the frame weight. Then I simply removed the paper templates and hung the real frames right where the templates had been. Mistakes I made so you do not have to. I will be honest with you, my first attempt was not perfect. I initially spaced my frames too evenly, and it ended up looking stiff and almost like a chart instead of art. I had to step back, loosen up the spacing, and let a few frames sit slightly higher or lower than others to create a natural flow. I also learned the hard way that mixing too many different art styles without a shared color thread makes the whole wall feel chaotic instead of intentional. Fixing both of those things is what took my wall from looking like a Pinterest fail to something I'm actually proud of. Final budget breakdown. Let us do a full recap. 7 frames from thrifted and discount sources, $18. Printable art bundle plus home printing costs, $11. Spray paint for frame touch-ups, $4. Adhesive strips and hooks, $3. Total $36, comfortably inside that $20 to $40 range. This proves you do not need a big budget to make a big visual impact in your space. If there is one thing I want you to take from this video, it is that a stunning gallery wall is not about how much money you spend, it is about intention. Plan your layout, stick to a color story, and do not be afraid to mix affordable pieces with a little creativity. That blank wall you have been ignoring could be the best part of your home by this weekend. If this helped you, give this video a like, drop a comment telling me what color palette you are thinking for your own gallery wall, and subscribe so you do not miss the next budget makeover video. I will see you in the next one.